Hey guys, welcome to Deepsouth Homestead. A few videos ago I told you about my Azure standard haul and that I had gotten some oat flour and different all-purpose flour, I think, and then in a week or so I will get some of the unifying ground flour. But in the meantime, about 3 weeks ago, I'm a little behind in everything, I was in a nutrimill. It's a harvest stone grain mill. This is bamboo, and I chose the black because in my new kitchen everything's going to be black, and well, it's black and blue. It's this color blue, but I've got black added in as a highlight. I chose the bamboo on black, and I think it comes in 3 or 4 other colors, but I like the black look on the bamboo the best. The mill itself has stones inside. This little thing sitting on here says, turn the mill on before grinding grain. Do not mill oily grains or seeds. And it lists down here what you don't grind. And it tells you for finer, you turn this knob clockwise. For coarser, you turn it counterclockwise. So it's set approximately in the middle right now. And before we even started, they asked that you run rice through it first. So I have some basmati rice that Danny and I ran through this. And the texture to start with was pretty gritty. So we turned it clockwise a little bit. It got a little better, turned it a little more. You don't want to turn it too much all the way and shut it down, because if you do, you glaze over your stones. So this nutrimill has stones in it. And most of your mills have, I don't know, Danny calls them flails or something. It's like metal parts that sit there and beat everything together. Or it has some kind of grinding thing. This actually is like the old stone mills. It has 2 little stones in there that grind and make your flour. With that being said, if you get this turned too much clockwise, you get your stones too close together and they can glaze over. So the rice, once again, if you ever glaze it over, the rice is your friend, because you run the rice through there, you loosen it up some, run the rice, and the rice takes the glaze off. Way to clean it, I guess you could say. Now they send a quick start guide with it and tells you exactly what to do. You plug it in and place it on a good surface. You have to put a bowl under it, and I'm not going to be putting anything in it right now, but I would be putting a bigger bowl under it. We're going to grind some oat flour shortly. So I will put a bigger bowl, and we will be putting the oats up here and grinding. It says always turn the mill on before you grind. Adjust your knob, and then you start filling the hopper. And if it's not coming out, as you can see with Danny and I, as we were using this, Danny would only put a little bit of rice in here at a time, and we kept adjusting this knob tighter till we got the consistency of rice, flour that we wanted. Of course, we threw that away because this was the first time of anything going through it. We are going to be grinding some oat flour. I bought oatmeal from Azure Standard, and also bought the whole oat flour. It is organic whole oat flour. I made Danny a couple of biscuits with it earlier, and he really liked the texture and the flavor of the biscuits. So we're going to try with the oatmeal, grinding it down, the rolled oats, and trying to make a flour. And we're going to compare at the end the 2 flours and see the consistencies of them. Now remember, this is stone ground. This is stone ground, but this is through a big stone ground mill. I have a measuring cup full of oats here, and these are from Azure Standard, and I keep them in a thing like this. I buy 5 pounds at a time, and we go through 5 pounds just about a month, maybe not quite, but close. So I've been buying them 5 at a time. A 5-pound bag of organic rolled oats. There we go. Look how clean, how neat. Now I've heard some people say that they had some husk in them. I think out of 2 months, I found 1 husk. In 2 months, I find that in Quaker oats. So I think overall, I don't think you should be complaining because, I mean, let me roll it around a little. Look how pretty. I'm talking beautiful oats, and the taste is phenomenal. We don't notice the powdery substance that's in, like Quaker oats. They intend to add some of the powder and everything to theirs. These are oats, plain and simple, $8.19 for 5 pounds. Now I looked online on Amazon. Organic oats, 5 pounds, was close to $20, was over $20 from some companies. So for $8.19, for all of you that say you can't afford Azure, $8.19 for 5 pounds. You can't beat it. And if you order a 25-pound bag, it goes down. It's a little touch cheaper. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this on and we're going to start milling this amount here. And I've got a bowl sitting here. We're going to turn it on first, and I'm going to put you up close so that you can see, and we will adjust as needed. I don't know how. All right, that's pretty tight. We want to back off probably about there, and we'll check the consistency and the fineness of it till we kind of get what we think we need, and then we're going to compare it to the Azure oat flour. Let's loosen it just a touch. The texture right now is pretty fine, but I can feel a touch of the particles. It's not much, but I'm thinking it's pretty close, and so I'm not going to turn it any finer. We're just going to go ahead and meal the rest of this. We're turning it off. Now that made quite a bit of flour because you see it kind of fluffed it up, and all I need is 1 to 2 cups of flour according to what I'm making. So we're going to sit the oatmeal out of the way. I'm going to put some of the flour I just milled in this bowl and some of the Azure whole oat organic oat flour in this bowl, and we're going to compare the two. Okay, I got you up close and personal. The organic whole oat flour. This is really, really fine. I'm talking super fine flour. Again, stone ground, super fine, feel no impurities whatsoever. What I just ground, I can feel a touch of grip, but not much. It's not as fine. So I think before I use this, I might try sifting it to see what happens. If that, if that would make a difference. But then again, I'm taking out part of where this is whole oat, this is whole oat. So, if you didn't want I guess what I'm feeling is just a touch, but it's still pretty fine. I'm noticing the fineness of it. It seems fine, but I may run this through a sifter and see what happens before I use it. But we're going to let this sit before using. I'm going to let it sit an hour or two and then make up my biscuits. The nutrimill stone grain meal, it did a fantastic job. I ran just a small portion in a little bit tighter. I didn't want to go too tight. I was scared I was going to mess my stones up. So it's going to take a little adjusting to get it just right. But I did run a handful at a tighter, the stones closer together. And it is smoother, and it is comparable to this. So if you want a stone grain meal, it's the only one I found. You guys know that Danny has the big grinding wheel that he's making corn and taking corn and making cornmeal and grits with the big stone ground mill. And I was looking for a smaller version just to have on hand for flours and oats and different things. Beans. Beans is something I want to do too. You can do a lot with bean flour. So when nutrimill reached out to me, I said, yes, I would love to do this because I can show using different types of things that we can grow. Now, we can't grow oatmeal, but I can grow beans. I have a whole variety of beans that I've dried, and I'd like to make a multi-bean flour and see what happens. So in the future, in a few weeks, we'll take out some of the dried beans and just do a variety and see what the flour comes out like. And in a pinch, if you did not have anything else and you're looking for something to make a hoe cake or a pancake or something like that, because you're not going to want to be cooking gigantic meals, you might want to simply have something to eat. You could take your beans. If you get tired, everybody's got beans, bullets, and Band-Aids, and rice. So you can make your rice flour, you can make your bean flour, you could combine the two together and make a little patty and fry it up if you had some oil or something, or you could bake it over the coals. There's multiple ways to make a little pancake and have something to eat. And so bean flour or rice flour would be perfect because most everybody stashes beans and rice, right? So who wants to eat dried beans and rice every day? Make you a patty, cook it. Now I'm going to take the oat flour in, and we're going to make a biscuit. Danny wanted some biscuits to eat with his cane syrup, and I told him I would try. It may not be the perfect fluffy biscuit, but we're going to make him a biscuit and see what it tastes like and how he likes it with his cane syrup. And I will show you the results of him tasting his oat flour biscuit. I will show you the finished product of a biscuit made with rolled oats ground into oat flour with a nutrimill harvest stone grain meal. That ought to be interesting. I'll show you how he likes it. We'll get busy in about an hour, hour and a half. I'm going to let this sit for a little while. If you're interested in the nutrimill, check out the link in the description below. They have the stone meal, plus they have the original nutrimill that uses the metal cutting blades. So check it out. This also comes with the cute little top that goes on it. It comes with a cleaning brush so that you can reach up in here and clean this out. And I don't have a bowl under it. I probably should have put my bowl under there. And then you just wipe it down. But this will clean that out. This comes out so you can clean it and get it all clean. You can wipe this. You get in here and clean this all out where it goes in, so you do not have grain all in there. And you can clean that out. Put this back. And lock it. Put your lid on. All right, guys. So as I'm cleaning it, this piece right here comes out. And here's your stone. And there's the other stone. And when you're cleaning it, you run the little brush around. Let's see, this one is the one I think I ran around the sides. And when you do this, you might want to leave it in place and keep your bowl under it, because look what I did to Danny's floor. Yeah, when I cleaned around the top there, it came out here and just dumped on the floor. So when you're cleaning, keep your bowl under it. But this is the stones. That's the bottom one. This is the top one. And they have little indentions in here where the oats get in there and grind against that stone. So if you're interested in a nutrimill, check out the link, whether you buy one of these or the regular. If you're interested in buying your own wheat berries, your own oat, your own spelt, anything that you want, that you're buying, even if you're raising your own beans and drying them, you can do this. And it also says that this one does corn. Now, I've not tried Danny's corn yet, and we might try some and see how it does. But he's going to be grinding some on the big mill, so stay tuned. Shortly, we'll show you some stone ground grits and cornmeal, and let's go inside and find out if I can make a biscuit. Upon using a sifter and sifting it, this flour that comes out is as fine as Azure. And I had just a little bit left in here, which is, you can see just little bits and pieces. So I probably could run the knob down just a little and wouldn't have as much, and the flour would be finer. But I'm really happy with that, because that is a really fine flour. It's just like Azure's there.
It's still just as flaky. It may not be puffed up flaky though. You have to be careful picking it up, because it'll...
See if that'll do for a biscuit if I perfect this.
Mm-hmm.
That work for your biscuit?
Mm-hmm.
Better than anything I've made so far?
Oh my gosh, this is... It's been a long time. What, been...
3 or 4 years at least since I've made almond biscuits and stuff like that.
I think say it's been a long time.
This
is better.
It does have a better taste than the almond or anything else, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is almost like a... This is almost like a wheat biscuit.
Yeah. Well, it's an oat biscuit, so...
It's so flaky, it's falling apart.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was hoping that was something you'd like, so I can make it.
That's a definite thumbs up there.